So hello dear friends and welcome back. And today we have a really special guest with us. And hello, I'm so glad to meet you. And I have so many questions. So why don't you introduce yourself to our viewers?
It's my pleasure to be with you guys. I'm Hadeel Almutawa. I'm a clinical dietitian specialized in eating disorder. And today's episode is very special because this is the first time I'm being interviewed by girls at your age. And I want to see your perspective in nutrition and see your questions and your interests. And I'm all here for the answers.
Okay, so can I ask you a question?
Yes, of course. Go ahead.
Okay, so my question is like now Ramadan is going on, and generally in Kuwait people tend to drink a lot of tea and coffee. And being it is Ramadan right now, I think the intake of coffee and tea has only increased. So do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
I love this question. Me, myself, I love drinking coffee and tea, but I know the right way of drinking it. So first thing is after your meal, especially in Ramadan, like don't drink tea after futur immediately. Give it some time because the absorption of iron from your meal, like if you, let's say you ate a good meal filled with iron and you drank coffee or tea directly after it, the absorption of the iron from that meal is going to decrease. So give it at least 1 to 2 hours after the meal to have your coffee and tea, and don't exceed the daily intake.
Okay.
Make sure you don't exceed like 300 mg caffeine per day. Number 2. Number 3, it's about the moderation. You can enjoy a good tea, a good coffee. It's about the moderation. And number 4, which is the last and most important one, is don't increase your calories intake from coffee and tea. Let's say some people love adding with their tea a lot of sugar. Some people love having Spanish latte, which has a lot of sugar. So have it in the better way. Like instead of having iced Spanish latte, you can have iced skinny latte, which is like skim milk, sugar-free syrups, or honey even. At least you can get benefits of that. Instead of having tea with milk and extra sugar, you can have tea with skim milk and no sugar. So it's also about the way you have the coffee and tea. And I hope that answered your question.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think my dad has to see this episode because
everyone, even my family has to see this episode. After futur, immediately they drink their tea. They don't give it a moment.
To almost everyone, because during Ramadan, I think people just tend to drink tea a lot because drinking tea is almost like a habit.
Yes, it is. And also they run to the tea, like they don't give themselves time. Like in my house, after they have futur, automatically the tea is ready, automatically the Arabic coffee is ready. So I usually I get it because everyone like runs after futur to their coffee and tea, but I usually have my coffee and tea like 1 hour, 2 hours later, and then I enjoy it and have a good one that I enjoy and have it in moderation.
You know, in Ramadan, the most popular food that I think has to be on the table in every house, which is the sambusa and those things, right?
Yeah.
So like, some people immediately after they eat the dates or before they eat the dates, they just go on those stuff. Is this good or is it like bad because, you know, it's an oil? So like,
I love this question. So in one of our episodes with you guys, we spoke about how starting your futur off with unhealthy things that will raise your blood glucose levels will affect your entire day, will affect your entire decisions for the entire day. Let's say you break your fast with sambusa, which is high in carbs, high in oil, deeply fried. That will make your decisions for the entire day. All day you'll be craving sugars, all day you'll be craving carbs, all day you'll be craving simple carbs like bread, rice, sugar, chocolate, sweets. But if you break your fast with proper fiber, proper vegetables, good protein, high enough protein, and then have 2 or 3 sambusa, it will change your entire day. It will change your entire feeling, you know this feeling you get after eating a big meal? It's gonna go. If you do it in that order and if you do it in that way, you're not gonna feel fatigue, you're not gonna feel laziness, you're not gonna feel that you can't move, you're not gonna get the food coma that we usually get after food. You're gonna see a big difference. And I do not restrict any of my clients as a clinical dietitian. I do not, because I specialize in eating disorder, and I know restricting some people from things can lead to binging and lead to binge eating. So I do not restrict them from anything, including sambusa, especially in Ramadan, since it's the season of sambusa. But I tell them, have it in that order, and they do that, and they're like, Hadeel, we never felt better, we never felt less cravings, we never felt like we're productive after futur, and we never felt this energy after futur. So do it in that way and you see a big difference.
Well, how many sambusas do you recommend? so somebody can eat.
Like any snacks, how many amount of snacks?
I wouldn't say snacks, like how many amounts of sambusa would
Okay.
you eat?
Okay.
I'll tell you. So with sambusa, every house cooks it differently. Like some oven, put it in the oven, some deeply fry it, some put it in air fryer, which is recommended. Every house is different. So it's about the amount of oils in it. So you can't judge and say like a general recommendation have to eat sambusa because every house does it differently and the stuffing in each house is differently. So what I can say is go for 1/3 of your plate having it carbs. And if 1/3 of your plate you want to fill it with all sambusa, go ahead and fill it with all sambusa. If 1/3 of your plate you want to fill it with a bit of carbs from sambusa, a bit of carb from rice, a bit of carb from, let's say, yirish, you choose. But it should be 1/3 of your plate. And
Okay.
because you can take, let's say a house cooks their sambusa with oil, okay? That's more calories from oil. If a house air fries their sambusa, that's less calories. So generally, I would recommend 1/3 of the plate. And if the household deep fries it, you'll get more calories from oil, but at least it's within portions of 1/3 of your plate.
Yeah. Actually, my next question, I think it's a question which almost everyone has during Ramadan. What is a proper amount of water to drink during Ramadan? And also, is it a good idea to drink a lot of water during suhoor?
Okay, so it's not it's 2 liters like the daily recommendation. You have to fill it in within the hours that you're breaking your fast in, not like since the second you break your fast till the second you hold your fast. You should drink 2 liters. But I don't recommend you to finish 2 liters at one sitting or 2 liters before you hold your fast. Some people don't drink all day and then suddenly before holding their fast, they finish the 2 liters. No, have it throughout your non-fasting hours.
Yeah.
Like break your first, number one and most important thing, when you break your fast, I never mentioned this, you have the order of food, the order of intake, but you should break your fast with water. Number one, you should break your fast with water.
Yeah.
Before the vegetables, before the fiber, with water. And then throughout your non-fasting hours, have up to 2 liters of water.
Okay.
Well, you know, some people like me usually don't eat breakfast, especially in school days. So like, is it bad for people skipping breakfast or is it like okay?
Okay, so that's for a non-Ramadan day when you have breakfast. When you have breakfast and skip it, it's not, like I said, with fasting, with Ramadan, it's not breakfast that's the most important meal. It's what enters on an empty stomach is the important thing. So if you're entering on an empty stomach your lunch meal, which is high in carbs, rice, chicken,
meat,
deeply fried foods, everything on an empty stomach, that will affect your entire day. With Ramadan, same thing. If you're entering on an empty stomach, something deeply fried, carbs, easy, simple starch, that will affect your entire day. But if you don't have a breakfast, but you break, the first thing you have is like, let's say 1 p.m. when you're back at home, and it's like something high in protein, good complex carbs, high in fiber, vegetable intake, that's okay. But I recommend, because you're going to school, you're expending some energy, you're using some energy, I recommend you to have this meal not at 1 p.m. but at an earlier timing. Same with Ramadan, don't break your fast at something that will affect you negatively for the rest of the day.
Okay. Well, my next question is actually because, you know, we children, we tend to be picky eaters. Some things we don't like, some things we like. I mean, I know I'm like that, and I'm sure most people are like that. So could you suggest an ideal meal for the children to have for iftar?
For iftar, as I said, that order is very important. Have your vegetables, have your soup, have your salad, have your one plate of a balanced plate of the right amount of carbs, right amount of protein. I know as your age, you like more chicken nuggets, fries, have it in portions.
Yeah.
And have it in a better way. Instead of being deep fried, it could be air fried, it could be in the oven. Instead of being like frozen chicken, increased shelf life, which is more processed, have fresh chicken that is made like marinated at home, and have it in a better way. And I think this episode is ending, so we'll end the episode here. I love your question, girls. We'll have it in the next episode.